Welcome to the Critical Few Actions to Improve Your Business podcast. I'm John Downs and I'm here to help you cut through the overwhelm and prioritise what matters most to improve your business. Let's get started and discover the critical few actions that have the biggest impact. Today, I'm meeting with Jackson Yin, who I met in my CEO Masterclass back in 2021. Jackson's the CEO of iBuild Building Solutions, a multi-award winning manufacturer of premium kit homes and modular buildings for the residential, commercial and government sectors. In 10 short years, it's grown from a garage operation to selling to customers throughout Australia and around the world. There are a number of things that make Jackson's approach to business very special, which I'd like to explore today. Specifically, is the innovative and creative approach to managing the performance of his business, how he became one of Monash University's most respected and prolific supporters of their intern program, and finally, how he now uses AI to dramatically enhance his business to grow and extend its reach. So heads up, this might feel like we've got 3 interviews in one, but frankly, if Jackson and I talked for 3 or 4 hours, we still wouldn't cover all the gems that he's learned over the last decade. The PDF download attached to this will help you surf through the key topics with ease, so settle in. If you're a founder or a CEO looking to accelerate your growth and you're happy to follow the path less travelled and augment your business with high-performance skills and tools, this episode will fire up the synapses aplenty. Jackson, welcome.
It's a great pleasure here to join your podcast, John. I have been a loyal listener to your podcast, so it's great to be here.
Fantastic. So Jackson, our first conversation was when I was interviewing you to join the CEO Masterclass. I remember I was pulled over on the side of the road on Oliver's Hill, looking down the hill at the sun setting over Port Phillip Bay. And at that point, I realised that you were not the average bricks and sticks builder. Tell me a little bit about what led you to founding iBuild and the journey so far.
Thank you for asking that question, John. We started business 10 years ago and was hard work from a garage, bootstrapped, with everything start from pretty much zero and organic growth. So a lot of hard work and a lot of doubtful times, struggles, and a few resilience and perseverance, and the business steadily grew over the years and gradually win more and more clients. And we are very pleased with the growth, particularly in the recent several years, rapid growth, because we gradually built up the brand as Australia's most trusted, awarded kit home provider. We're competing not only on national stage, but also winning and in the global stage. Particularly notable to us is a couple of years ago, we won a contract to design and supply a residence to a royal family, the royal palace overseas. So looking at that, when I look back 10 years ago, starting from a garage, I would never have imagined that we would have done from affordable housing to royal palaces. It's impossible to imagine that route. That's all because of the reputation goes and the word of mouth and also digital web search lead to those inquiries from around the world, including the past from royal families, as well as some of the notable projects such as German government foreign aid project in Senegal, and that leading us to designing and supplying 11 houses exporting to Senegal in West Africa. So it's a remarkable journey, but we are super proud of the growth and the journey ahead. So from affordable housing to royal palaces, we have done it all.
Yeah, and as I often say, every overnight success takes about 10 years. And, it's been a 10-year journey and you're in an extraordinarily strong position now. Well done.
Thank you, John.
And so how many houses and kits and modules are you now producing in a year?
We're probably talking about hundreds a year. Over the years, we probably produce over 1,000 clients or units nationwide and globally.
Wow. And what sort of price do they vary from?
Our typical kits starting from a small one bed, typically 40, 50 grand for a small one bed, to a larger 3-story, 7+ bedroom mansion, if you like. They are renting from 200 to 300,000. Okay. The typical customer would probably contract price probably around 100K or so. That's our typical customers' purchase price.
Wow. So that's a substantial change in value for what, when compared to, say, the volume builders.
Of course, this is certainly it's a different business model. Our model is very similar to the IKEA model. That means we design and manufacture and fabricate flat pack homes for clients around the country. And the clients, on the other hand, need to manage the on-site assembly part. So therefore, there's still other on-site costs that need to factor in, but we know we enable that opportunity for clients to potentially become owner builder or owner manager to save that price margin by the builders who would charge generally sometimes fairly high margins. So therefore, by enabling those opportunities, clients find the value, and most of the clients probably would say on average report back to us, say about 30 to 40% compared with going through a conventional builder route.
And of course, I can't resist suggesting that you must produce some very large hex keys for the assembly of these things.
We provide similar manuals like IKEA, hundreds of pages, step by step, for our clients to manage that process. So also provide the remote support to guide them through, hand holding throughout the journey from start to finish, make sure they comply with all the regulations, with the Building Code Australia, as well as the relevant Australian standards.
And one of the things that we were talking about the other day is that, as is the case with so many builders when they start out, developing a supply chain is quite challenging. But now the tier one supply chain partners welcoming you with open arms.
Yes, we are. It's like any small business. When you start out, we're knocking on the big giant's door. They would typically ask you, who are you? Where are you coming from? What do you plan to do? Etc. Questions like that. But through many years of relationship building and proven track record, we are partnering with some of the most trustworthy brands in this country, including Bunnings Warehouse, James Hardie, etc., to work together along the supply chain. In fact, out of the typical nine deliveries we deliver to our clients, 5 of them will be delivered by Bunnings on our behalf. So therefore, that kind of underwriting by Bunnings in turn also help boost our confidence in our clients' mind, because they know the warranty is there, the range availability is there, because it's one of the largest brands in this country is doing the delivery on behalf of us for a large chunk of our deliveries.
Fantastic. If you really want to kick off your strategic planning and work in a supportive environment with other CEOs and leaders, the CEO Masterclass in Strategic Planning and Implementation is for you. This 10-month small group course helps you craft your strategic plan, present it to a group of peer investors, and develop a habit of monthly implementation. Our waitlist is open now at CriticalFewActions.com.au. Look, it's been an amazing journey, and we could dig into that alone for at least another hour, but I'd like to sort of move on a little further. So, clearly it's been an amazing journey, but you joined the CEO Masterclass during the COVID years, when some of the classes had to be done remotely. How did you find the Masterclass?
I find it's very particularly valuable. We learned many tools. One particular one, it's called the OPV, Organization Performance Value. It's particularly valuable. And also the peer learning from other particular CEO classmates, if you like. That is a very good forum for us to discuss matters often we can't discuss with many other team members in the business, because generally are fairly sensitive matters with the business operation. So it's it's a great forum to discuss those within the CEO masterclass as well.
And I must admit, when I interviewed you and realised that you had a PhD and an MBA, I thought you had more than enough education. And frankly, maybe it is my own imposter syndrome. I wondered, what did the masterclass add to all of that study that you'd done so far?
I have to say I'm familiar with some of the frameworks as part of the MBA study. So that helped me digest probably much faster than probably some of the peers in relation to the meaning of the tool sets. But what I found that OPV is probably one of the most comprehensive framework to put all different ones into one single page. And the business leaders can actually look at them, turning corner to corner, every single part of business operation, and identify areas that's what relevant to me that we can focus on this particular part. So that particular discipline approach to identify most impactful area in relation to strategic value adding process, that's very powerful. Essentially, one want to say is the framework is comprehensive. It's the most comprehensive I have seen, but very applicable in the sense focus on the most impactful area applied to the actual business operation and to the strategy development and plan development and execution. So absolutely very valuable framework.
Yeah. And so with that, there was something I wanted to dig into a bit more, because you've taken it from being a diagnostic tool that at a point in time you can assess 75 areas of the business and identify which of those critical few actions that if you did nothing else you should focus on. You've taken that down another layer and really operationalized it so that it's an important part of the way you run the business, not just month to month, but actually week to week. Do you want to talk a little bit more about how you use it as a business management tool and how you use it with your team?
Yes, I have learned or inspired by this framework, picked the most impactful areas and implement into Monday to Friday operational rhythm with 5 strategic pillars, which we adapt from your framework to number 1 on Monday, focusing on create demand. That might be content marketing, might be Google Ads, that might be social media, that might be brand reviews, word of mouth, different stream. Typically, each strategic pillar have 4 areas of work project content, and each stream would be led by a team member.
Right.
So therefore, on a Monday, my attention, in addition to many other things, will turn my focus on that specific area to assist those teams review the progress. Likewise, on a Tuesday, we go to present product. That means how we present our products to our prospective clients. And on a Wednesday, that will be focused on close the sales. How can we support our frontline team to improve the conversion rate, to help remove the bottleneck towards the closing the sale, and therefore supporting growth of sale. And on Thursday, strategy 4 is about enhanced experience. Along the journey, when the customer become a paying customer, or even before they become a paying customer, every single touch points, what can we do to enhance that experience? That might be email nurturing, that might be onboarding, welcoming new customers. And when they finish the project, that might be offboarding, surveys, and turning a customer into a revenue fan, becoming an ambassador, etc. Activities focus on those, enhance those experience. And on Friday, turning our attention to increase our capability and capacity to deliver projects. We call it deliver projects. So in a succinct way, on Monday to Friday, we use an analogy. So if you want to get a customer to buy into your shop, on a Monday is drive the demand, get customers to your shop. Tuesday is focus on how you present a product so that customer can have the opportunity to view it, whether it's a physical display or it's a virtual display. And on Wednesday is support frontline. How can we get that customer engagement close the sales. And then on Thursday is enhance that experience along the journey from start to finish and get repeat customers, get word of mouth. And on Friday is focus on our operational aspect of increase the capability and capacity to deliver more projects for the business.
Fantastic. And so do you also, for each of those areas, have measures that you track across what would probably be 4 times 5, 20 odd key KPIs?
Absolutely. Each stream has its own measurement indicator, and then we track on a weekly basis. And therefore, we can see, because everyone is entrenched with this framework every day, on a daily basis, everyone knows relevance, and they can easily empower the team to know if it's off track. We know straight away, because that has a habit of every week you do this. When particular indicator not performing well, we can see straight away. Or if in one particular example, our email open rate doubled than the usual, then the team straight away, oh my God, that doubled. And I say, well, because it's doubled because we track it every week. Now you know, and that's the benefit. And now our task is figure out why this particular weekly email has a doubled open rate than otherwise. And figure, maybe the timing of sending is different. Maybe the subject line written is different. So those give us insights to how to operationalize that and continue to improve, optimize the performance of the business operation.
And so it's by doing that on a daily and a weekly basis that you've accelerated the learning process of iBuild from its own operations. I often talk about businesses, what are the lessons that a business is trying to teach us every day, if only we had time to look and to listen. And I think this is a really good example of how you've codified that learning process, which I suspect has been really important in your growth trajectory.
Absolutely. I think the team, through this particular OPV framework, ADAPT framework, I think the benefits are particularly pronounced. Number one, every team member knows the clarity of focus, strategy. This is you. Number two is the relevance of their work to the strategy. My work sit here. When employees, team members are engaged, know the relevance, research shows their performance will be generally better because they know the meaningful impact they can make. And other aspect is because of the team's full collaboration, and you get a team performance measurement, a team spot rather than an individual CEO spot, because everyone can pick up that easily, because everyone knows they can track it. This is the area I can help you with that. So therefore you get a great team spots to help each other as well.
Yeah. And there's nothing like having multiple sets of eyes on an issue to actually come up with a better solution, or at least actually a better and well understood problem.
Absolutely.
Which is 90% of the solution anyway. Well, you are definitely the platinum standard of how to systemize using the OPV within your business. And I think it's fantastic the way that you've adopted this. So something that I ask each of my podcast interviewees is about the critical few actions. And because we're effectively condensing 3 interviews into one, I'll ask you this question a couple of times today. So if you were having a chat with a founder or a CEO that was looking to improve the way they guide, the way they manage and report the performance of their business, what critical few actions should they start doing tomorrow based on what you've learned if they did nothing else?
I think 3 actions I would suggest. The first one is pick a framework that, like OPV, that you can use for the whole organization. Number 2, prioritize only a few that make most impact, to be ruthless. A CEO have many things, a long to-do list, everything, but we need to prioritize, focus on those critical few action items that turn our attention. That might be 6 months later, the problem resolved, you turn your attention to the next few, but at any given time, focus on a few critical areas. Number 3 is make it a team sport, not just a CEO's task. Because otherwise, want to get the whole organization buy-in to get everyone's involvement and engagement. That would be my 3 suggestions.
Yes, and that team sport also makes sure that you don't become the bottleneck and you disempower your team if you do. I think that's fantastic. And congratulations on the success that it's helped you achieve. Let's shift gears and talk about something quite different, because the way you've approached internships is fundamentally different from what I've seen in most businesses that partner for a short period of time, usually only one semester with a university. And, I think that you've developed an amazing relationship with Monash University. I think you're an exemplar of best practice for partnerships there when you're providing really meaningful internships for many areas of the university, not just one. Can you tell me a bit about how you first got started with the intern process and how you now run it?
All right. That's a very important area in our business in relation to internships. We started when one of the students from the university approached us for internship. That would be probably 8 or 9 years ago. We had no idea what to do. Then engaged the university. It's called a WIL department or unit, workplace integrated learning. Then worked with them, set up a hosting program agreement, some paperwork to work through. The first few, we found the university students generally we're quite impressed with their curiosity and their initiatives. So we thought that's a good initiative, good program to have. And then we start gradually developing our systems and processes and mentorship to support those internship programs. So by now, we take 3 intakes a year. Each intake's probably about 20 plus students to 30 students. At the peak, we probably take
Sorry, did you say that you take 60 people a year?
Absolutely.
Wow. Okay. That's an intern program on steroids. Sorry, tell me more.
That has grown from a single Monash university to now about 9 or 10 universities, including most top 8, a group of 8 universities in Australia, and also including some TAFE institutions and some other higher education institutions. So we generally get students into project teams. Each team would have a leader, and therefore training the leadership skills. We've done a lot of systems onboarding, clarify the roles, responsibilities, develop the whole internship program and systems using digital technology, including video recording. Many things can be self-paced by students in the learning process with proper mentorship as well, staff members. And that has grown enormous from very small number students a year at the beginning to now probably 60, sometimes even more students a year. Each semester take 20 to 30. So that's been enormous benefit to the business in a sense. Number one, students provide fresh perspective to the business. Number two is it helps boost the culture within the business. Number three, it helps give us a strong talent pipeline. About 80% of our staff members are past interns. Really? So that's enormous. We know students who, out of 100 students, you always have some very good ones. We tap them shoulder. Would you like to join us? Once we mutually have those trust and those familiarity, that's a very good way of tapping into top students from the top universities.
Fantastic. So 60 or more students a year. What on earth do you do with them? What's the sort of work that they do? Because, I mean, that's one hell of a child minding service.
We have a number of disciplines. By far, the largest is engineering students, and then followed by IT, then would be marketing, and then arts, etc.
Okay, so give me some examples of the sorts of projects that each of those might work on.
Absolutely. The engineering student will be typically working on real-life projects as a team, such as a 3D design of certain structure, houses, buildings, might be architecture design, might be BIMs, building information management system, modeling. Some of the good ones be launched to our website as real products. So they collectively work as a team. That's some of the engineering students. For civil, for many other disciplines of engineering, such as electrical, computer engineering, they're working on aspects of those disciplines relate to those building areas. In IT, they would work on system integration, system automation, how to make our systems more robust and integrate with AI as an example. Some project that would work on a simple example is how to get our CRM system talking to AI, have the smarts of AI to help guide the prospect customers a specific information we would like to find, save our frontline the time, how to generate a contract with flexible clauses and terms conditions. And those things are real life needs from the business. And some of them take many years, which is on the back burner. And then we will have students. It's not crucial to the business, but if that problem is resolved by one group, maybe after multiple attempts, then that's a great productivity gain, give us higher bandwidth in our resourcing, project management, etc. So that's an example for IT disciplines. Marketing, they would typically work on client story write-up, video editing, and understand the brand voice and brand equity, how to help the brand to project us and reshape the perception as Australia's most trusted and awarded kit home provider, and how the learning the theoretical framework from marketing, like positioning the 4Ps, apply into real world, and the students find enormous benefits. The feedback I hear from them from time to time say that during the 3-month internship, sometimes learned more than the 3 semesters. So some of them for the full year. So it's enormous benefits to students themselves as well.
Yeah, look, I think it's an absolutely massive contribution. I work with both Swinburne and Deakin University, and the ability to bring real life, a real world experience is absolutely invaluable for you. And of course, this doesn't happen by accident. I know that at one point I had 7 interns working on a range of projects in my business, and it was nearly a full-time job just to manage them. But you're doing this at scale with 60 or more a year. How do you manage this to maximize the business and the student outcomes?
I think the right into groups, that's the key. That's one. I mean, students get a group working on a group problem. They can learn to be a team player, and also the leadership skills. Number 2 is we need to have the business need to put considerable resources in e-learning. We use a Basecamp system to onboard new students so that they getting to understand the business culture, the vision, the mission quickly, and the organization, our future current strategic priorities, etc. And then the mentors, each discipline lead of staff members will work with them and then have regular check-ins. And then one of the probably really relevant skill sets that we'll learn, probably not necessarily learned, and I learned from my personal career, is I was trained as an engineer. Throughout my many years of engineering, I never knew what marketing is doing in my career. I only learned later on when I was maybe about 10 years in a corporate job, later on step into more mid-senior management. I get exposure to what marketing function is. I wish I knew that much earlier. Well, our program designed in such a way for different disciplines of students. They have a weekly get-together, a presentation to understand what different functions working on what. That may not be, at an early stage, not be much, but when they progress to their career, more towards senior management, I would say those exposure to multidisciplines will reshape a leader much more profound than otherwise, because a single mode discipline rather than multidiscipline exposure at the very, very beginning would broaden the perspective of students. So we use multiple mechanisms to engage students in different groups using systems, video recording to help paced learning, and then have in-person and regular check-ins and weekly meetings to get students get a desirable outcome for both students and the business.
Yeah, yeah. And so when you've got a cohort of 20 students 3 times a year, how many of your direct staff would be effectively full-time managing them?
We got about 4 different staff members working with the interns directly.
Yeah.
So 4 different disciplines. And that's where some of them find particularly beneficial, because rather than a dragger in their task, which can be, at times they find the extra boost to the bandwidth available, because suddenly you get resources available to help us doing many things, which the students can play an important role to learn the real world experience. For example, to check a Bunnings online price versus the contract pricing we were given by our suppliers. Normally, we have the resources available for students. Can you help check those pricing in the retail store online versus what we have? Find out present the hotel analysis to me. What's the price benefits we enjoy from the volume buys we enjoy, for example. Most business will not have that capacity to do, because now we have a group of very enthusiastic ones. They want to get the data, then doing the mathematical analytic tools to apply to the theory into practice problem, give us the answer. And then the business now know, okay, now we know Bunnings retail price is this price. We enjoy this price. How much the discount level we enjoy, and etc. That's quite beneficial for any business when you know your supplier's pricing point, right? So
absolutely,
that's an example.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. And so with effectively 20 extra full-time staff, I guess, how many other staff do you have in iBuild? I'm not actually quite sure of the scale of your permanent employment.
We have a broad team member, about 30 plus.
Yeah. So you've got 30 full-time team members, and then you've also got a rolling 20 people or more coming through as interns. So that is a substantial boost in capacity and capability.
Absolutely. It gives us more bandwidth, particularly for entry-level tasks. Bear in mind, we always ask students to be in an observatory role rather than rely on them as a substitute for employment.
No.
That's what we try not to do. It's more for them to observe things, and sometimes if they can make the contribution, which they can, that would be great. At times, some of the tasks, I have to say, require multiple attempts.
Yes.
But with multiple groups to get it down. And sometimes you may occasionally say, I would have done in 5 minutes. It took me 15 minutes to explain. That can also happen. And so it's a two-way traffic. But by and large, the benefits outweigh the cost, I suppose.
Yeah. It sounds like you're way ahead. Are you looking to pinpoint the areas that will make the biggest impact on your business? Check out the Organisation Performance and Value Diagnostic. This powerful tool lets you evaluate your business on multiple facets and provides email reminders to keep you on track. Head over to CriticalFewActions.com.au and get started now. So Jackson, again, to wrap up this topic, if a founder or a CEO is looking to access bright young students to help them with a specific project or look at their business from a fresh perspective, what critical few actions should they start tomorrow if they did nothing else?
3 things, if I may suggest. First one, pick or choose a partner university you'd like to work with. Start with one.
Yeah.
Second, develop program, clearly define the scope, which area you want to start with. Start small, but identify the roles, accountabilities, the resourcing, etc. Understand the gist of the internship mentoring program. The third one would be start small, but aim for large later. So that would be my 3 suggestions.
So start actually with an objective of scaling significantly. Well, you're certainly proof of the pudding of the success of doing that. Okay, so let's now look at artificial intelligence. Clearly it's in its infancy at the moment, but I'm just dying to find out how iBuild has approached AI. What areas of the business do you actually use AI in?
We currently using AI in multiple ways. Certainly agree with you, John. It's infancy. Everyone's learning and understand implications. As CEO, personally, listen to podcasts, learn that every week about AI implications. For the business, we are currently applying for multiple areas. By far, the marketing area is the one area that we use the most at this point of time, and then followed by IT, and then there are other some aspect in sales as well. So that's the 3 areas we are start using and seeing some good results.
Okay, so how about we drill down, if we could, on each of those areas, and let's talk a bit about how you're using AI to either augment or support your team members. So should we start with managing demand or creating demand?
Yes, in create demand, the content marketing is a key piece in create demand, in search engine optimization, in published content, in copywriting. So AI, as we all know, it's a wonderful tool that can accelerate the copywriting part for us at the rate of, I would say, we have tenfold content than in the past. So that's what the speed of generating content is much faster than before. So therefore, we can scale our content marketing. And that's what we aim for tenfold increase with AI augmenting our capability.
Wow, gosh. And so with regard to the content marketing, it's simply just a matter of producing lots of additional written content, or are you also using it for say, the production of podcast materials or audio content or video content? Are you using AI for any of those?
Yeah, we use our philosophy is customers centric, AI first. Our staff always, first question we remind them, can AI help me with this? Every problem we approach. So that's what we're trying to do. Now, to answer your question, we use AI tools everywhere, wherever we want to use, including copywriting for blog posts, copywriting for market research, copywriting for customer onboarding. So many aspects, even producing multimedia assets, PowerPoint slides, audio overview content, and transcription, and video and graphic generation. So we trialing every aspect on a daily basis and turn into a very dry, for example, technical content into a very entertaining and easy to understand audio format, for example. With AI tools, that can be done fairly in a matter of minutes sometimes. So our staff member already benefit that, even internal learning, professional development. One staff member said, well, it took me many years to read it, never understood. Now, by turn that into an audio format, I know my person, and he said many clients probably would be similar to me. I'm learning more with listening rather than reading. So that's a great area for us to tap into AI to help unleash the power of the technology.
Okay, and give me an example of a different area of the business that you're using AI.
Particular one we use considerably is in IT area.
Okay.
We, in the past, for some of the coding, we would hire senior contractors, senior developers to do the coding. Now with the AI tools available, now some of our team members, we don't necessarily need to hire additional resources, contractors. Now with AI, the code can be generated within minutes sometimes to achieve the goal. So therefore, number one, reduce the time to deploy a new system, develop a new system. Number two, save the costs. And that can translate to easily $250,000 a year, I would say, easily. So that's pretty significant productivity gain for the business.
Absolutely. And I guess it also gives you complete control over your own intellectual property.
Absolutely right. Yeah.
And when it comes to that lever that you were talking about, the customer experience and the customer journey, are you using AI to support that in any way?
We use AI to develop, for example, questionnaires for surveys, we ask AI to ask, we have current system, this is current we do, what can you suggest, other things we can engage customer better, optimize customer experience. So every aspect, we turn the AI into different, we call it custom GPTs, means to perform specific function. You are the IT specialist on one day, then that's a custom GPT to do that. It knows our iBuild IT system requirements. It don't need to prompt it again. Maybe another day, another team member use another custom GPT for Chief Experience Officer. You're the CXO, Chief Experience Officer. Now, this is where we are. Can you do this for you? Advise on what to do. So we develop those more and more custom GPTs tap into different areas to help the business to along the strategy area from create demand, present products, and grow the sales, and enhance experience, and deliver projects. Along the every step of the way, we always ask question, how can AI help us to do better, faster, and more cost effective?
Yeah. And how are you using it to deliver projects?
For projects, we turn the technical content into easy to understand for clients. Sometimes require each project manager, a dedicated project manager will need to explain repetitively every client similar things, most common asked questions. We get that as we work progress right now. We get those questions, most common asked technical issues, how to set up, for example, a site, how to install a piece of James Hardy cladding material into the frame. And we capture those questions, get the AI to develop, help us, and explain that to me in audio format. Explain that in other ways we can develop that called milestone communication. Clients come to this stage, we anticipate what the question is going to be asked. And a telephone call with a project manager easily half an hour to sometimes hard to explain remotely. And now by using what we propose to do, and it's still work in progress, is reduce that service time by using those technologies to develop new materials, including video content, audio content, and autoresponder, preload templates into our customer communication portals. We know when it comes to this stage, this is likely to be asked, then those messages will be displayed. Therefore, reduce greatly in a hope to customer frustration, because now the problem be preempted and you don't have to get frustrated to call us. Now we know, anticipate it's coming. And to the project manager, reduce so much time, believe they can help serve more clients, more happy clients. So I'm using that as an example, is because those, particularly in construction industry, they're highly technical, they're highly specialized, and the human technology is in the human intelligence here. How can we unleash that and use AI to identify that and propagate that knowledge in key milestone point of the project journey and preempt those or anticipate those potential frustration pain points, and therefore attack them and greatly improve customer experience. And also the benefits to the business, of course, is reduced wastage, reduced time, and happy customers.
Look, I use custom GPTs extensively, and particularly with regard to the recording, the production, and the publication of the podcast. And it's been an absolute game changer. But as you talk about that, and particularly talking about the ongoing interaction between project managers and the owner builder or the owner builder manager, I can imagine that with the introduction of AI agents, that you could create a customer experience where the customer almost feels that they have access to a full-time project manager support person through agents that are actually monitoring and potentially project managing the owner builder through their process.
Absolutely. There are lots of development in AI agents area. It's fascinating to see they come into real life, and we are trialing, experimenting with various tools available, and those no doubt will further enhance the productivity for all of us. And it's amazing that the AI can have long memories about what we tell them in the past, many, many, many months ago. And particularly beneficial even for the internal staff training, for customer engagement, those knowledge, and also now for customer support and customer experience improvement. So we look forward to more experimental pilots of the AI agents into operation into our business.
And I guess just circling back to our previous topic, one of the advantages, I guess, of having constant access to a pool of curious interns who are technology natives, your ability to identify, experiment, practice, and play with these new AI technologies is really quite substantial.
Absolutely. I think we experiment in a number of things. For example, when the leads arrive in our CRM system, or sometimes the spam leads, for example, some spammers, can be frustrating for the people on the head office to see the spammers. And now with AI, we can send to AI to identify, is that based on the pattern here, what do you think? Is that a likely spam or not? That's one step. Further step, based on it's a legit leads, based on the attributes, the location provided, and the query message, who do you think should be allocated to us one particular sales team member to help with this client to have optimal customer experience, to potentially better prospect of becoming a paying customer as well? Because AI knows what the past success, by whom, in which location, what type of projects, the information is there. So we are experimenting a number of those things with our internship team in a group project sense. You're absolutely right, John. Those raw talent bring us, we call it innovation injection to the business, to give us fresh ideas, fresh perspective, trialing in a fair, safe environment. It's safe to fail because it's a test base. We give them those tools to, if the house collapsed, well, it's a test bed. It's okay. So if there's a particular benefit when we were trying to put into the production environment, to put into alpha, beta versions for our systems to trial it.
Yeah, fantastic. And so what do you see as being the top 2 or 3 benefits for iBuild of the adoption of AI?
I think the first one is help us to get things done faster, a lot more faster. Okay. Number 2, can scale up 10 times. That's what we see. So that's what we aim to achieve. Okay. The third one is it acts as a strategic advisor for us. Okay. Means we ask them to how to grow the business, for example. More strategic questions sometimes bring us a perspective we never thought about. Okay. So it's incredible to using the AI to help us.
Yeah, I can see all of those benefits plenty. And indeed, even as a consultant, I think the value of, and I use this myself, the value of being able to tap into world-class experts as personas that you use AI to look at a problem from, or actually asking the AI to look at it from multiple skilled perspectives, really gives you a very different set of perspectives, many of which you might never have considered or never have had access to that sort of experience. One of the things that most businesses now are trying to grapple with is the how. How do they start the process of AI? Should it be a big bang, a whimper, targeted areas, organic approach? How did you approach it?
We are a business, on one hand, with a very technology literate young talent within a particular head office. On the other hand, we have some of our particular sales team members in their 60s, 70s, potentially, or some of them. So it's a mix of familiarity to technology. Some people call them dinosaurs themselves. So you would imagine it's a miracle for me to send an email itself already. right? So you can see the challenges. I can see different organizations face different challenges. In our case, what we particularly advocate is in head office, where the adoption is very keen, the likelihood of success is high. We start from head office and to roll out or to advocate the benefits of AI. And it has so far has been going smoothly. We use every opportunity in team meetings, dedicated segment to share new tools, to learn from each other. I often say it this way: I'm the champion for AI for the business, but I don't have the time to learn everything. So what I'm going to do is I point out potential directions, areas, and the tools we can explore. And some of you, each of you, go to explore, come back, and share what you learn. I learn from you, and we learn from each other. In that way, the team share their learnings, different tools ranging from ChatGPT to Claude to Gemini, which we subscribe to Perplexity, you name it, to a notebook LM, to Gamma, for example, all napkins, you name it. So many tools coming. We know our problem. So this is what we try to tackle. This one, guys, go to figure it out, come back, explore it, and you may use interns to help you to share your learnings, and then we learn together as a team, because nobody's expert in this area. This is moving so fast, and tools are changing themselves. So we use that approach, and so therefore we create a very encouraging, supporting environment for people to share their learnings, and that's one aspect. Second one, we probably manage the particular perception. One particular team member raised, "Oh, AI is going to replace my job." That's most CEOs, you're going to face questions like this. I often use the example. So when computers are launched, unfortunately, a lot of typists, typewriter, or other equipment manufacturers, their business will be impacted. On the other hand, the computer generates so many more jobs, just like the first industrial revolution. Most people are in the farming industry before, then gradually move to the steam engine. Most people now relieve from the farmland, going to other industries. So this is an industry shift. It's a paradigm shift. We better with tight, not against tight. So if we learn AI skills now, we won't be the typist, be replaced, because we are the masters of AI here. We teach others. So I think that change in management approach can be important to influence team members' perception. So one other example, few people want to work on Saturdays, on the weekend, to do lead allocation as an example. It's my time, weekend. But it's business, it's important to do that. We give a task to our team. We know AI can help you do that, and AI can allocate leads to a particular salesperson potentially better. How about we make that as a project to get the AI to allocate leads starting from the weekend to our sales team, enhance productivity, relieve everyone from weekends. We now want to tie in the computer to this in the head office, right? And AI doesn't mind. They want to learn the pattern. They keep learning that. And therefore, I think our team's support attitude would be perhaps be welcome rather than resist those changes. And they see the immense productivity. So therefore, we say, with the tools available, can we do 10 times more because of X, Y, Z here, right? Rather than writing an article in the past, maybe 4 or 5 hours for perfection. Now you probably can get it done in 15, 20 minutes because we have AI to help us to improve that. So those are those conversations. How we roll out into our business is with probably CEO championing that, select area that easy to adopt rather than starting with sales team, which we will gradually influence them because we'll see the benefits to them. They will gradually adopt that. Already early stage of audio overview, as I mentioned, some team members say, I never understood that by reading that article 100 times. I'm not a person absorbing written material. Now I listen to the audio. I got it.
Yes.
I'm so happy. That's the power of AI as well, right? So I'm sure the more we do this, and the more team members will embrace that and adopt AI. So
Yeah.
that's our approach to roll out AI.
And certainly, I think, one of the things that we're going to see with AI is the way that it can boost individualized learning in the mode that people require and benefit from the best is actually going to help with the education of people and help their understanding in so many different ways. But I digress. So what are the sorts of challenges that you've faced then when you've been implementing AI? Everyone talks about its shortcomings and the risks, and all your intellectual property will be owned by somebody else. How did you handle, or did you experience that, and how did you handle it?
We take a very a bold approach, in the sense we encourage everyone to experiment, and it's safe to fail. In the meantime, we encourage our team to use the Gemini because of the data privacy, intellectual protection, in addition to exploring ChatGPT. So the challenges often for the business is we have different level of technology understanding. One area particularly keen to adopt AI, but when you come to those other areas of business, you may find more difficult to do that. So the change in management would be a gradual process for other part of the business. And sometimes you can't run too fast with that. Other aspect of challenge, of course, is so many tools. It's keep changing, and it's moving so fast. And that means we need to continue to keeping up with what's being happening, and to adapt ourselves to using systems, using new tools that's particularly suitable for a particular business, I suppose. Yeah.
Fantastic. Look, that's really insightful, and I think it actually really helps people unpack that question about how to adopt, how to encourage, how to provide a safe environment to experiment, fail and learn, but also with a goal of 10x of being the outcome, which is not about how do we replace people, but actually how do we augment them in a way that allows us to build exponentially our capacity, which actually shows an even greater reliance on human intelligence and decision-making, just with better tools. Very exciting. Jackson, to wrap up this topic, if you were the founder or CEO looking to adopt or realise the potential benefits of artificial intelligence, what critical few actions should they start doing tomorrow if they did nothing else?
I think 3 suggestions. First one would be pick a system, whatever you have access, whether it's ChatGPT or Gemini, etc. I believe eventually right now they might be different, but eventually will all be similar functions, just like social media many years ago.
Yeah.
They all have the similar functionality, because these tech giants, they're going to learn from each other, trying to compete with each other. So pick one, start with something. Second one is pick an area, a department that's more, you think is more likely to adopt AI than others. And third one, provide an environment of it's safe to fail. And we always, in iBuild, we always say, when we want not 100% sure and we know of the risk, we say we're going to do an experiment. We're going to do a pilot. If pilot is not successful, that's okay. It's a pilot. It's an experiment. If it's successful, we say, well, pilot's successful. Let's deploy company-wide. So I would just probably suggest take those 3 approaches to be quite important to encourage people to provide a safe to fail environment, because these things, it may not always be successful as we wish. Yeah.
Of course. Jackson, as always, it's been an absolute delight to chat with you. Thank you so much for your time.
It's an absolute pleasure, John. It's always good to talk to you, and I always learn so much from you each time I talk to you.
I think today it was all learning on my behalf. Thank you.
Thank you, John.
Thanks for listening to the CriticalFewActions podcast. Don't forget to subscribe and grab the downloadables from the show notes. And if you found this episode helpful, I'd really appreciate it if you share it with your peers and your team. Stay focused and take action. The Critical Few Actions podcast, including show notes and links, provides general information only and is not individualised business advice, nor can it be relied upon as such. You must take responsibility for your own advice, decisions, and actions.